Button.
The button.
Button.
It has been pressed. The button is free.
All right. There we go.
It's like
Not
weapons
that
free, but the button's free.
Wrong button.
The button is out of its cage. Yes, yes.
It has
Yes.
destroyed its cage.
That's my cover. That's my cover photo.
I am aware. It is a wonderful meme. It's a wonderful
beautiful
poem. Kids write the best poems. One of my students yesterday, at the end of class, as they were walking off, they said, "Mr. Smith, I'm going to tell my math teacher the best joke." And I said, "Oh, I want to hear it." And she said, "What kind of joke do you write on paper?" And I just looked at her because that's my favorite pun in the whole wide world. And I said, "A terrible one."
Ooh.
And she was so
That's good.
upset that I
you knew it?
this. So I said, "Don't
You're
worry.
horrible.
I've got another joke for you because I know the math teacher that teaches your class. You should go in there and tell him there's a fine line between a numerator and a denominator. And only a fraction of the kids in your class are going to get that joke."
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh.
It'll be so divisive.
Oh.
You are multiplying
My-
your sins, crap.
Mhm.
Yes, and my cosins.
I hope you're keeping it tally.
Now, I said
I hope
this
you left a
in-
list of these for us both.
the science teacher was hearing this conversation, and she was trying very hard not to laugh at the whole thing. Failing, but trying very hard. Anyway, hello and welcome to Cause and Effect. This is a 5th edition
Alright, you pushed the
homebrew
Hey.
Dungeons, Dragons, and Math campaign. All math.
I have a
All
question.
the time.
Is a speech that you leave for your substitute a subtract?
Oh.
Oh. Oh my! I've
writing
been
that one down on
substitute,
paper.
Honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I came up with that one right then. Please, thank you, all royalties.
There you go. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Millie. Millie is here all week. Today's a Saturday. That
I
still
live
counts. Anyway, tonight I am joined by a bunch of awesome people who you've already heard, many of them, including Beth, Ellie, Eo, Millie, and Jen. What happened 2 weeks ago?
We don't know. After those guys in the black suits came by and flashed that thing in our eyes, we just can't remember.
You weren't supposed to
Wait,
remember that.
I don't remember.
We
We fought
had something to do with the
thing.
mechs and the techs and the mechs and the techs. Tex-Mex.
Oh, I kind of remember a little now.
You
and-
were
We fought the
in
thing.
an
We fought the thing.
ossuary.
Yes.
You're an
It's a very
ossuary.
fancy way of saying House of the Dead.
Uh-huh.
It's also
Of
a
the
cross
bones.
between an ostrich and a cassowary.
Worst.
that's
Worst.
a
Not
way to
here.
die.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
my.
That
That
is
would
a way
be-
to
yes.
die.
That
Giant
makes it end us all.
Science spent so much time thinking about whether or not they could. They didn't stop to think whether or not they should. Anyway, they're dead. now.
Yes.
All of them. Well, the ossuary had been cleared out of actual corpses, of biological units, many, who knows how many decades ago, possibly centuries, and instead it was being used as a laboratory setting, I guess you could say, for Sclerora, the noted big bad of this arc and several previous arcs. What Sclerora was trying to do was...
Technolich.
Yes. She was trying to reconcile the crystalline-based brain technology used to power two particular Warforged, Tex and Mech, and also a few other things that have been found in various sessions and campaigns in this expanded universe setting of ours, with her own nanite technology that keeps her going, but also, you may remember from a previous campaign, JR was reworked to be able to use this, and those of you who are from the far-flung future and came back in time to stop an alternate timeline where JR took over everything, well, all the jurors thought that they were made of the same stuff. Turns out Tex and Mech and one other were not, because the technologies are incompatible, and trying to combine them wrecks the crystals, as Sclera was discovering.
Saying that the jury is out?
No, the jurors
Whoops.
were in.
Are you saying the jury's out?
The judge was out.
Oh, okay.
The judge was out because she got
But you ruined
rhombus
the
of annihilation.
That was her
The
fault.
jury was out what they were made of?
Technically, if we want to bicker and argue about who rhombused who, it was Bindle Brightlight who did the rhombusing.
Nightlight.
Brightlight.
Here we go.
And only a few generators were melted in the process. But you already made Mo a lot of money by helping to fix it. It's fine. It's fine.
We live
Mo
to
will
serve.
tell you it's totally fine. Yeah, he lives to serve, but service isn't free. Service costs. A 25% gratuity is expected for the service.
I respect that.
Yes. With that said,
As you should.
as Cavill just like
Someone
pops
should get
in-
inspiration.
wait.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting this.
Inspiration.
There we go.
Did I get mine for my bad joke?
No, because I don't believe you actually made me laugh. I told you I was writing it down on paper. However, Cavill has inspiration.
Okay, good.
And I'm not sure, but I think you and I were both trying to give Cavill inspiration at the same time. So I was just watching the check mark appear and disappear
Yes,
over
that
and over
happened.
again. Yeah. I've closed it. You make
It
sure the
wasn't
check
over and
mark is
over
there.
again. It was just once.
It was
It was just once, and when I opened it again, the check mark was there.
okay. I clicked on it. It went away. I clicked on it again. It's fine. It's fine now. We have a net gain of 1,
Yeah.
parentheses 1, initiative. No,
One?
one of those is the loneliest number that there's ever been. This is true. Well, what also happened was you discovered in that particular ossuary Control, who had been the ship control unit, hence the name, for a starship which had been meant to be an escape craft from back when the planet was struck by the Tarrasque and all that, back around the same time that the Singing Obelisk was created, and that was the technology that Sclera did. Congratulations, you are getting back information from multiple campaigns over way too many years. We've been doing this since 2017. With that said,
In the year 2000.
in the year 2000. Oh, wait. This just in, I've been handed a piece of paper. It is a cease and desist letter from Conan O'Brien. I'm just going to frame this for later. Moving on. You were able to rescue Control. That was nice. And a decision was made, hey, here's what we are doing with a certain crystalline brain that Tex was able to bring back and had been keeping in secret. Not letting anyone else know, although did confide in Cogbucket Sr. about it. And Cogbucket Sr. had been working on a body based on the JR model. JR's original chassis had been very skeletal so that JR could decide every attribute about themselves. They still haven't made every decision. They still use they, them pronouns because, you know what? Their gender is not really important for them to make that decision right now. So that's fine. So they're just not. Their gender is no.
That's a very fair gender.
Yes,
Yep.
and it's a respectable choice. Well, so this is a template chassis that the crystalline brain is going to go into, but also based on Cogbucket Sr.'s examination of Control before Sclera came in and yoinked Control the first time, Cogbucket Sr. is fairly certain that he could not change memories, but add additional files to provide context and maybe stop Tex's companion from going full juror murder bot rampage. Because 1, murder bad. 2, the skeletal chassis is definitely not something that is going to be overpowered in any way. It is possible that A would be able to use a glove on the end of a stick placed directly to the forehead of this particular chassis to prevent Tex's companion from actually, being able to take a swing at anyone. I've got the stick right here already,
Clever.
just in case.
Aww.
Could you please take that hand and return it? I've been working on that for a client. Oh, it was like that when I got here? It was not attached to the broom handle, no. Okay. Could you also please return the broom? Okay.
The trouble with rogues.
And the twine you used to tie the two together. Could I keep the twine? You may keep the twine. Thank you. 8 starts chewing on the twine. Well, it looks like chewing. They might
Don't
be
eat
flossing.
that.
They might be flossing.
Mm.
Kobolds have a lot
The
of teeth.
dance with their teeth.
What's that?
The dancer with their teeth.
No. That dance does not exist outside of the 9 hells.
I just had to know.
Outside of the 9 hells, the floss does not exist as a dance.
So is the place in the 9 hells where the floss is that the same place the glitter is kept?
Kept everywhere. It just sort of spreads like tribbles.
But is that like where the birthplace of glitter is?
No.
Next to the Fortnite dance machine?
No, the glitter is a divine wrath type of thing. That's why Guiding Bolt makes you glitter.
Oh.
Yes.
So like when you really, really make your god mad, you'll get a puff of glitter in the face?
Well, there's
Sounds
that.
fair.
Or let's just say some of the most terrifying characters I've ever seen had cleric levels.
Just imagine if I made Hero with a few levels of summon glitter.
It's a shame I've retired
won't
that
think of the glitter
campaign.
paladin.
Yep. Nope. No way we can go back there. Nope. Definitely not revisiting any of those characters at any point in time.
Yep.
Nope. Not. I'm terrified. Moving forward. So,
Okay.
JR has requested to be there when the companion wakes up. And this took some doing because several, if not all of you, are also going to be there. Tex is certainly going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole we came back in time to stop a JR who had gone too far thing didn't necessarily sit well with JR's friends. And it took some convincing to let JR leave the moon. That's a sentence. To be here to see a great grandson, sort of, kind of. Or daughter, or person. Child. Yes. Wake up.
You wanted to.
Not like we're going to mess with.
It took me a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If I caught
that
it
right away.
immediately, I wouldn't have thought it was funny, but it took me a moment. Dag nabbit, you have your inspiration. I think.
Good. Mission accomplished. I'm good for the day.
I hate that you've earned it,
Inspiration.
but you earned it.
Oh man, I can just go to bed now. I've accomplished my deed for the day.
Okay. Yes, but when you go to bed, you're going to have to wake up, grab a brush, put on a little makeup.
Oh no, here we go again.
Then you'll have to hide the scars to fade away.
That's a
to
different
makeup.
band, though.
You trust. It's fine. We're done.
Okay. All right, already. Let's all float on. So, you are in what has been referred to by Cogbucket Senior as a clean room. It's in an undisclosed location. You have been teleported in by going to one of the teleportation rooms in the flag headquarters, and you were basically plorped directly in here. It is a mostly empty room. There is some equipment. There's a strange contraption attached to the ceiling that is over top of, imagine, if you will, one of the bed things from insert Star Trek ship random thing here, only take out half of the pieces of it. Like anything that looks like it would make it comfortable isn't there.
Okay.
But, it's a war force that hasn't been turned on, so it's not like they're noticing right now. The walls, ceiling, and floor are disturbingly white, as in you don't see the corners.
Oh. Don't love that.
That's why the word disturbingly was an apt choice. It is a clean room.
Very clean.
For some reason, the only character here that is dressed like it's a electronics clean room is, of course, A. They are wearing the bunny suit, but not the bunny suit with the ears. The bunny suit with the dander's not going to get on anything, which is funny because A has no hair. A is kobold.
I mean, it's probably Hobby who's going to get stuck in the full surround. Either that or someone's doing a lot of prestidigitation.
The room is self-cleaning, and the delicate instrumentation has already been taken care of. You do not need to wear that. But it was my size! As you wish. By the way, it was not a size. The arms and legs are... The sleeves and pant legs are bunched up a lot.
Oh,
Good.
poor little guy.
Also, there was no room given for the tail, so the tail is going down one of the pant legs. Awkwardly.
Perfect.
Yeah, I thought you would appreciate this image. It almost makes up for the fact that you can't see the edges of the room. Oh my gosh, Ellie. That is, not quite, but that is an image.
Close. An image.
That is a volume of 1 image. No, we're not playing Minecraft. All right. Cogbucket Senior and... Okay, Cogbucket Senior is getting ready. They're still making some final adjustments. The crystal is in place, but the skull portion is currently open. So the crystal is sort of just held in place by a little wire harness that will retract into the skull and have the sides close in, but that hasn't happened yet. And he is just making some minor adjustments, and this gives JR a moment with the party, and JR just is staring, spending equal amounts of time staring at Tex and Mech.
The grandkids you didn't know you have. That's all right. I'm sure that Hobby is staring at JR because, after all, a cat can look at whatever the heck they want.
No one's going to question it.
So if JR is staring at the both of us, I'm going to wave and just not say anything.
JR immediately waves back. Almost like it's a reflex.
Oh, good.
It is a reflex.
Yep.
Tex is studiously not looking at JR.
Oh.
It is possible that JR spends more time looking at Tex than Mech just because Tex is not making eye contact. Hello.
Hello. Okay, you speak. That's good.
I do speak.
Who is this?
This is JR.
Uh-huh.
All right.
There is some error in My voice modulator. The bugs are being worked out.
Oh, well, I hope you get that settled soon. You'll probably feel better.
It does not hurt. The inflection is a new feature. Relatively. But I lack control.
Understand that. I too lack control.
That's accurate, by the way, JR.
JR spends like a half beat looking over at Chadrick, then turns back.
Fair.
Apparently, I will lack, maybe will lack more control in the future.
I'm sorry, you cut out. You might what in the future?
Lack more control in the future.
Ah.
But JR spent a significant amount of time trying to find the right verb tense.
Thing is, I'll have that phase, JR.
Don't talk like it's going to happen.
But thing is that we've done a lot of work to make sure that you don't go as far into that phase as mayhaps you could have.
Hobby nods.
Right. So don't talk like it's going to happen. It doesn't have to. You obviously can choose to not do all that.
I cannot choose to not mourn my friends.
You don't have to maybe go full murder bot.
That's my job.
Things completely understandable and fine. Just don't genocide the world.
Or put it in preservation things.
Yeah, for the record, most of sentient species were not so much murdered as, put in some type of stasis so they could not be a threat to others. Those who resisted too hard may have been put down brutally, but that was not the intention for most. However, at that point, we're talking tomato.
On the ethics and the ethics and philosophy of putting someone in stasis versus killing them. What's the tomato situation?
Well, I am not trying to justify the reasoning, but that is the reasoning that was made.
Yeah. Do that this time. Let's find a healthy outlet for your grief. A charity, mayhaps.
Memorials are nice.
Just, not full murder. Or
Stasis.
subjugation of the entire sentient species.
I do not know how that line was crossed. I have not done it yet.
Good.
Correct.
That I could. That is what scares me.
Dang it. I don't remember how.
Well,
now that you know, it's much less likely.
But
Indeed.
the why is Cogbucket Jr.'s friend, one of Cogbucket Jr.'s closest friends, was killed by A's clan.
Not me. That's why you guys murdered them all.
We didn't it was Hobby didn't want to murder them all. Just
Teleporting murdered them all mostly.
Yeah, we did kind of displace a lot of people.
I did not
turn
do
a lot of them into
anything.
paste.
Except get teleported.
That's generally what happens, Chadrick. Did not
I was in the bathroom.
You
That's
also
true.
teleported.
I
That's
did
right,
not
Chad.
mean to teleport.
Well, I didn't know the
That's
teleporting
true.
was going to do
Canonically,
that.
that's true. That was a nat 1 on the dexterity
I,
save.
I
I've
fell
never
into
been
the
happier
floating
for
circle.
a crit fail.
Yes,
I was
you meant
wondering
to
how we were
guard
going.
us so that we could go back, and you were going to cease to exist. How extremely moral your self-sacrifice is noted. Can we move on?
I just don't think it's funny that we were trying to figure out how to in story explain how I fall into your party. I rolled a nat 1.
These things, they work.
But yes. But yeah, please, if one of your closest companions gets hurt or killed or something of that nature, please follow the sentience form of grief, as we have many types of grief counseling and therapy for this exact situation. And, work through it that way instead of rage.
Do not subscribe to the Page method of grief counseling.
Yes, do not just scream murder until something changes.
We're trying for less murder by volume, not more.
It's a new concept.
We're still workshopping it.
But knowing that the thing might have happened is half the battle.
And, I mean, if the logic helps at all those stasis people, they stopped. They went away when the future changed.
I mean, my dad isn't real anymore.
Chadwick pulls out a photo of his family and sees that the older brother and sister are starting to fade away.
Fade away. Yeah. I
Great
got that
Scott!
one.
Who am I? I also just
Suddenly a
met
DeLorean comes in out of nowhere.
Oh no.
I'm a daddy's boy.
So trying to preserve everything forever it didn't work. And apparently even you wanted it to stop. I don't know. I don't know if logic helps, but
It does. If I did not regret it, future me would have not made you three.
Cavill
That's
puts a
interesting.
hand on Max's shoulder. Not Max's shoulder, Texas' shoulder. I was looking at the wrong thing.
They're right together, so I mean, understandable.
Yes,
Carry on.
I read the wrong word. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm a little out of it.
Oh,
So
wait
am I.
until you get the name
Hard.
for the new robot. I'm a horrible person. Never mind. Nothing. You heard nothing. There's a tender moment where
okay.
Cavill is putting a hand on Tex's shoulder.
Yes.
Tex looks down at Cavill's hand. I had hoped you would not be like this.
Sorry, I get that a lot.
Not you. You were supposed to be eternal, and I had hoped that you would have some, at least, of the understanding. You are a child, and you cannot tell me why you did this to me. I could have lived forever not knowing. I did not have to atone for sins I could never repay. You cursed me, and now I can never understand, because you were eternal, but there is an eternity between the you that you are and the you that made me.
There is the sound of a throat being cleared, which is 100% simulated because it's coming from Codbucket Sr., who does not have a throat to clear. Some of my best friends have done horrible, terrible, unforgivable things. It is part of who they were. In many ways, it's still part of who they are. The grief, the pain, the anguish, and regret are signs that you are in a better place now than many who have done those things and feel none of that. I will not tell you it is okay. I will not lie to you. But the one who did those things was not the same as the person who is here now. You are different. You are better. You would not do those things again because you have learned from that pain, and that is worth remembering. There are gods who have not learned such a lesson. And a smallish figure in an ill-fitting bunny suit with a tail that's starting to poke out of the waist comes over and just sort of taps on the knee. It's as high as they can reach. Taps on the knee of Tex.
Is that a getting attention tap or a comforting tap?
A's a hugger, so that's a getting attention tap.
Okay. Tex is silent but looks down.
A says a few muffled words and then takes the helmet off because apparently the helmet is starting to fog up, and also no one can understand what A is saying through it. My clan is apparently the one that started all of this. It wasn't the first thing they tried to do. It was just the last. And I was part of it. If I hadn't been charmed, I would have just been another. I would just been another part of the cause. Should I be acting like you? Because I can't. I'm not strong enough. I'm too tired of that.
You cannot be held responsible for things you might have done.
Might is the wrong word. That wasn't the first time.
That wasn't the first time your clan killed one of JR's friends, leading to a galactic apocalypse.
The clan's name is Lost Eye. And A is saying this like it's supposed to mean
And
something.
not just because there's only 25 of them.
Tag nabbit. You already have inspiration. I'm not giving you more.
We're doing so good with this serious scene.
Yep.
That's our secret cap. We're never serious.
Girl, I'm ruffling A's scales.
I'm going to make an insight check on A. Before A. All right, with the 24, A slowly comes to the realization that absolutely no one in the party understands the significance of Lost Eye. You're
Should
from
we?
the future.
Right.
There's...
I'm afraid so.
I still don't know anything.
You wouldn't. There was an ancient green dragon named Malathomax that tried to take over the world and become a god. Malathomax had a lot of minions, including a not insignificant number of kobolds. There was a lot of death. There was a lot of murder. A lot of the murdered were raised as zombies.
You have necromancer levels?
I don't.
Just practical with your resources.
Well, that's good.
But, some of us did. And the rest of us helped. I am
Well,
possibly the youngest one here. Senior just types in second youngest. Okay, fine. But I can't count high enough. I can't count high enough for the things that I've done. That were just... They were normal. It's what we were supposed to do. It's how we were raised. Ellie Dagnabbit in the chat.
4 things. A can probably count above 4. A has toes.
And A doesn't wear boots, so there. You're stronger than me. You can hold on to that a lot longer than me. You have. But it'll wear you down, and you'll forget you have friends. Don't let that happen to you. And after A says that, A just keeps staring up at you.
I'm still ruffling A's scales.
A is trying very hard to pretend that A doesn't enjoy it. Because it's supposed to be a series.
Too bad. I know them by now.
You're giving
You
little
are very
scritches
wise
behind the
for
eyebrows.
someone so short.
I talked right over that, so that was... Please, Ellie, say that again.
You are very wise for someone so short.
Well, I've had a lot of time to think about it.
Hey, did you say you were charmed?
We did. Caffel did it.
Oh.
When we got on there, Caffel basically charmed the first person who showed up, who was alive, when we first teleported in to be helpful.
I did, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and then Cavill said, "Don't worry, you'll be okay." And therefore, when things started going bad and A was not doing well at all, I believe Hobby did stabilization first aid to make sure that Cavill wasn't lying. Because,
I think you cut out.
sorry, no, just because siblings, because well,
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
because that's the dynamic that they tend to have. Because they're nuts.
Mhm.
So this is why when everything had gone horribly, there was a poor little A being clutched in Hobby's arms like, you know, the little child clutching the puppy or kitten.
I see.
And then poor A got tossed in it with us. Poor A. Percy, you are interfering in a serious moment here.
Percy has inspiration.
Percy gets inspiration.
No, he doesn't need inspiration. He'll use it on more snot.
Oh no.
Roll save versus snot rocket.
Ugh.
At
It's not rockets,
disadvantage.
it's slugs. Oh, it's very disadvantage. It's so disadvantage. You have no idea.
At least it's
I
not
teach
rolling for
5-year-olds.
powder.
Do they sneeze bloody, slug-sized snot goop on the walls?
Sometimes.
The word bloody is not frequently used, and walls is not always the recipient.
Mm.
With that
Bloody is
horrible
frequent.
thought, let's get back to the serious D&Ds.
Yes.
Because
Good idea.
But yeah, I would like to pull A into my lap. One, because our bond. But also because another reason that Chadrick legitimately loves being around A is that Chadrick was also randomly forced into the party.
Hmm.
And so they feel a bit of kinship with the idea of suddenly I was charmed and I am part of this situation now.
only from Chadwick's point of view,
How did I get
suddenly
here?
Chadwick was charming.
I mean, I literally tripped and fell on my face, and then my entire family got ripped from me in about an instant.
Technically, your family had been ripped from you over a period of, let's not say how many years. That's why you were part of the resistance. Otherwise, could you picture Chadwick getting involved in any of this?
Mm.
But I got conscripted because of my dad.
Your
Probably
dad
because
getting
your
put in
dad got
stasis,
put
sure.
in stasis.
Yes.
Yeah, but I feel like I got conscripted for this whole situation, which is why I chose Paladin, because it looks the coolest because of the word radical on the paperwork.
And you wanted to be a
And
free
righteous.
radical.
I just thought that the word righteous and radical meant that I could party. I misunderstood the paperwork.
As you go and pick A up, probably doing a tackle hug from behind to do so. A's little arms pinned to their sides because you didn't give them the opportunity to resist. Everyone becomes aware that the skeletal Warforged on the gurney in the middle of the room is sitting up and has watched this exchange. And we've been playing for close to an hour. Let's take a short break.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
All right, we're back. And there is a skeletal Warforged sitting up in what appears to be a partially disassembled gurney in the middle of a room with no corners and white infinity walls and ceiling and floor, staring at the party.
Question.
Answer.
Now, by skeletal warforged, do you mean like a warforged that's like has some of its mechanical guts sticking out, or do you mean like one that looks like it has bones?
It looks like it is made of bones.
Awesome!
For the record, JR still looks like this, but JR looks like bones that have been filled in a bit. You can't see
Meaty
through JR's
bone?
cage.
Healthier,
Meaty
Healthy.
bones.
or at least healthier ones.
But this particular Warforged pretty much looks like a skeleton made out of metal. With glowing blue eyes, because of course glowing blue eyes. The glowing blue eyes are
Of
standard.
course.
They have resting glowing blue eyes face.
Resting skull face.
That too. Any moment now, they might start yelling about He-Man.
No, I mean Skeletor's kind of a lot more buff than you know. Anyway,
Yes.
we're being
Anyway.
looked at. Hobby will wave tentatively.
They tentatively raise a hand and wave back.
It's a good sign.
Hobby perk.
CRC F2739CHX. Are you able to hear us? They nod.
Wow.
Yes,
Chex Mix?
Beth, I told you I'm horrible.
Oh my god, we have Chex Mix! What's your favorite Chex Mix?
Heck, I think you're
Am I up? I interpreted that as Cogwheel asking.
Cogbucket did ask if they were able to hear, and they nodded
Yeah,
yes.
Cogbucket.
Yes.
Ah.
But there was nothing said after that. They do turn to look at Tex, though.
CRC F2739CHX, do you understand why you are here and what has happened?
There is a pause, and then they nod.
Do you have a memory of who I am?
They nod before you finish asking the question.
Half looking at Cogbucket, are you able to speak?
The voice modulator is in progress, shall we say. We are still working on designs, and when Cogbucket Sr. says this, he very clearly turns and looks over at JR.
I understand. These things take time. CRC F2739CHX, I regret to inform you that your former body was destroyed.
They nod. Cogbucket Sr. grabs a tablet and holds it up facing Tex and says, perhaps this might facilitate faster communication. While Cogbucket Sr. is holding up the tablet facing Tex, there is a message already written on the screen that essentially says voice modulators can be weaponized to pierce eardrums before erasing the message on the screen and handing the tablet to CHX.
Indeed.
And they take the tablet and they mess with it a bit, try out the buttons, and then they turn and face it to the rest of the party, and the message on the tablet says, how long has it been?
Since
Negative.
your body was destroyed and you were deactivated, I give the number.
Yes, but it's going to be negative numbers.
In the scale of the multiverse, yes. In the scale of an internal chronometer, my assumption is that's the number that Tex gives.
Yeah.
Tex does not give an italicized I as the number. That would be rude.
No, I mean like the one with like this and then like boop and that means plus or minus.
Tex gives a number that includes letters in it.
Oh.
Several former members of A's clan are invoked. They solved for me!
Oh my
They
God.
solved for me!
Why does
From
everyone
absolute-
always look for my cousin X?
From
X
an
was like a-
absolute
Sorry.
Perspective.
from my perspective, it has been number. From an absolute perspective, I was not given those calculations. Suffice it to say, it is a very large negative number.
They turn the tablet back, wipe it, and type several things, wiping the tablet each time without turning it around. Clearly trying to find the right questions to ask.
Oh, they're tongue-tied.
I mean, what the criff would certainly be, appropriate.
They type one more thing and stare at it for a good long while, then turn the tablet and it says, "Can you forgive us?"
Who is the tablet turned to?
Text. Everyone else is just someone else in the room.
But yeah, I just realized I could have been an interpreter this whole time.
I think there's only one person here who wants that.
I'm serious when I need to be. Also, I'm terrified of text, so...
Oh, the players understand this. I'm not sure the characters do.
But yeah, if it's a conversation text is it, I'm not going to mess around.
Again, the players understand this. In any case, they are still holding the tablet facing Tex. They are still enough that Cogbucket Sr. has to check a few readouts to make sure that they haven't gone into some kind of stasis mode.
I find it easy to forgive others who ask for forgiveness.
They nod at that.
When
Turn the
I
tablet.
rest, I see the faces of those whose lives I destroyed. I will have to work on that.
They turn the tablet again and don't spend nearly as long trying to find the right thing to say. The next sentence is, "You saved me."
How could I not?
They stare at you and turn the tablet again and write, "At the time, I was no better. How do you know I'm not better?"
You cut out there. How do you know?
How do you... At the time, I was no better. How do you know I'm not better? Well, for one, when you were brought back, we made sure it was...
I'm gonna put my hand on A's head and just be like, don't.
Like, Mech reaches out with a thumb and forefinger and just pinches A's mouth shut.
Yeah, just don't. Yep.
At the time, I thought that if I could change how I was, then it must be true that anyone could. Knowing what I do now, I think I still believe that.
JR speaks up. Not everyone can change, but the bravest can. If future me wanted you to succeed, you would have been made to be very brave.
Oh.
CHX writes another sentence on the tablet, and this time points it towards Cogbucket Sr. and says, "Am I free to go? In all the ways that matter, you are my grandchild. You are free to stay or go as you please." They nod at this.
With the understanding that when you come back, I will say, "Oh, look how you've grown."
And offer a cybernetic Werther's original. It's actually just a data packet wrapped in an NFT. No, I would not do that. NFTs do not exist in this world.
No.
No.
Not even in the ninth layer of
NFTs.
hell.
That's the secret 10th layer.
No, they're in the abyss. A realm of chaos and entropy.
It's our fantasy world, and we say we imagine a world with no NFTs.
Yes, it's a
Amen.
better place, a happier place, with only world-ending catastrophes every story arc.
But no monkeys with weird hats in pictures.
Pretty much. Oh, and you may keep the tablet. They almost clutch the tablet to their chest at that. They do hold it tighter. And with a little help from Cogbucket Sr., they get off the gurney bed thing. It's really good at positioning a Warforce chassis for procedures. It's not so good for getting in and out of under your own power. Not unlike hospital beds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It doesn't even have those things that slowly inflate and deflate to help prevent bed sores. It's a shame. And they stand up and they walk over to JR. They both stare at each other for a little while, then both nod at each other. CHX briefly raises their arms a little bit as if to make some kind of gesture, but they stop and put them back down again. And they walk over to Tex and they write, "Can we go now?"
X looks at JR and Cogbucket Sr. Yes, Cogbucket. I want to say Cogwheel every time.
You're not the only one. I have bitten my tongue several times. JR waves.
Before all of this, I believed that you were the wisest being in creation. I hope that you find a different path to a similar wisdom. And then Tex will lead the way out of the room.
All right. Now, there is no clear entrance or exit from this room. It involves teleportation, so you are teleported back to Flag Headquarters. JR does not join you. JR is heavily integrated with nanites, and the headquarters is now heavily warded against nanites. Taking JR with you would probably kill them, or at least render them to 0 hit points. So, yeah, they're not going along for that ride.
That was going to be an excellent parting line, but I cannot find the door. Flag Headquarters, would you please teleport me back, along with my companions?
Including one who doesn't have a flagstone yet.
It's, to be fair, that is something that your characters would have known coming in because, Infinity Room, there is no windows or doors. The only way you got in there was teleporting. So yeah, you're all teleported back to Flag Headquarters. You're able to go to your cohort room, which is cohort 15972, because you refuse to name it. And that is hilarious to the DM at this point.
I don't
Even if member
understand why
services-
we would change it. Cohort 15972 is a perfectly understandable name.
Of course.
It's
it is.
cromulent.
With anything
Anyway.
Tex says.
Can't forget how it turned into leet speak.
I agree with everything that Tex says.
All right. And so things progress throughout the rest of the day. And the following morning, Chadrick, who on this map we can see sleeping on a couch. Is that accurate?
Elephant always have a balloon?
The elephant always had a balloon, yes.
I don't remember the balloon.
The balloon
okay.
was always there. I have not edited that art.
Just wanted to make sure.
For the record, I picked the
But yeah,
numbers randomly. They aren't supposed to mean anything.
I am curled up in the corner of the couch.
Okay. So, the furniture of your quarters consists of the following things. There is a couch that was left here by the previous occupants. It was covered in animal hair when you found it. It is now more covered in animal
Feel
hair
at home.
because hobby. It's fine. You have two.
Test, hobby does not count as an animal. Hobby counts as a
As people.
sapient as people.
It is covered
Therefore, it's
in
now
more
covered with
hair
people hair.
than it was before because hobby.
Yes.
There we go. That statement is accurate.
Fur.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There are 2 charging bays for Warforged. A third one will be installed soon. You can take turns. You don't need.
Oh, good.
Like you've got fast charging. You're fine.
My brain's first thought is, man, all those people from the giant computer ages must be so jealous of our technology we keep in our bedroom.
You have, because Hobby requested it, a double-decker couch, which was not covered in fur until
Briefly.
a minute and a half before it was delivered. Somehow the hair reached it before it reached this room.
Just as long as it's colored like hobby, that's fine.
It's fate.
It's a lingering effect of the reverse time travel.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
It wasn't colored like hobby before, but it is now. Let's put it that way. The nice
All that matters.
thing about it being a double-decker couch is there is a spot for Cavil to sleep as well. There is a small cot. Well, actually, it's more of a bedroll. A had one small section, a 10 by 10 section walled off, which is now, it has a sign on the door that says A's room, keep out. And in it is a bedroll and A's meager belongings, including the bloody bag of holding. Which is not a pejorative. It, as we've discussed, it is actually frequently soaked in blood. Prestidigitation only lasts so long, apparently. In the morning, A is frantically shaking Chadrick. This is whatever time Chadrick likes to get up. This is not it. Chadrick! 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 Chadrick!
Yes, yes, yes.
Help!
Yes.
Help!
What?
Um,
I get up. I'm going. I'm moving. I'm moving.
something.
Where is he?
And I can't fix it.
Where am I going?
A grabs
Okay.
you by the arm and pulls you over to A's room
I'm here. I'm still sideways.
and points at the bag of
Mentally.
holding sitting in the corner that is suspiciously
How did I get
not
here?
covered in blood.
What's going on? Do you... Hobby!
Says the Tabaxi, who has been pretending not to hear all of this.
Hobby, it's the bag of holding again.
What's wrong with it now? What's it
There's
oozing this
nothing
time?
wrong with it.
You mean the blood got out?
There's none blood.
Okay, I didn't
it
like
wasn't.
the blood, but the sudden none blood is bad.
Yeah, exactly. There's none blood left bag. That's not supposed to change.
I'm okay with it not being
What?
bloody, but A flips over the edge of the bag of holding, and there is a tablet on the ground below it.
Oh no, an AOLCD.
No.
Is
tablet.
Chex here?
Okay, let's take this out of A's room so A can still have their space. Guys!
Don't leave me in here with
Is
it.
Chex here? Come here. Come out
then,
with
bring
us.
It with
Come
you.
on.
Bring it with you. I just don't think we can all fit in your room.
That's true.
Technically, you can, because cats can fill in around it.
Yes, but the Warforged.
Yeah.
Did you grab the tablet?
I did.
Okay.
Let's say I did, because I can't get psychically damaged if it's trying to do that.
A did
Well, I mean,
not
Hobby
grab the
has
bag of
mage
holding.
hand.
A slammed the door behind them.
Yeah, so I have the tablet. It's in between two of my fingers, and I'm like, crying
What's
at
on the
text.
tablet?
Can I read it? Actually, that's an important question. Can I read it?
Is there
There's
anything
an
on
H and part of an E.
He.
it? Help. It's saying help. What's in the
Oh no, who's in the bag?
Hobby is going to go get the bag and being prepared to jump out the door instantly, sort of
Can I
carefully.
mind?
Hobby is checking, is opening the bag to let air in.
Can I read the bag's mind?
No.
Does it have one for you to read?
No.
Can I read the mind inside the bag?
No.
Is there a mind inside the bag?
Well, I'm out
There's
of
an easy way
options.
to find out.
Okay.
Is check.
Remember, if you all know, because A did this once in front of you without thinking ahead, if you turn a bag of holding inside out, everything that's stored in it lands around you.
Hobby. A, do you mind if I turn your bag inside out?
I'm scared.
Fair. Can I use my divine sense to see if there is anything obviously good or evil inside of it?
Hobby is going to grab the bag and pull it and drag it out and is about to turn it inside out because, something might be suffocating in there.
You do not
But also,
sense
can I do that?
anything that divine sense can sense.
Okay, thank you. I just feel like that's important for us to know.
Which I remember correctly is fiends, celestials. No,
Celestials, fiends, undead are hallow spells.
none of those.
Detect good and evil, house spells, fiends, and dead. Yep. Okay.
All right. And you turn the bag inside out. You are immediately knee deep
Yes.
in Shotskis.
Yep.
You're such a good rouge.
She figured that.
You're such a good rouge. But is there anything living?
No. There's some rations of questionable age, but
Hey,
by the standard
this
definition of living, not currently.
did this tablet arrive overnight? Or was it there when
No.
we got here yesterday, but you didn't look at it?
CHX.
Where checks?
spent
Hobby
the
would like
night
to know.
here. CHX is not here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tex,
Okay.
Nex, I think we need to help Chex.
Yeah. But where do we go to find her? Them.
Didn't
Whichever.
anybody connect with them somehow? Like, I don't know, didn't you all get each other's CPU numbers?
I
No.
don't think that's how it works.
It should be. Did they get a cool stone yet?
They were not given a flagstone yet.
Why is
Dang it.
why is the blood gone?
Yeah, also, why is the blood gone? That is much more important.
Insight check.
I'm afraid I have to ask a. I'm
Okay,
afraid
also-
I have to ask a question that Crash really isn't going to like. What happened in this room last night?
Y'all hunkered down for the evening. Well, Chadwick probably stayed out late drinking because Chadwick, but that's for Millie to decide whether or not that happened. But whatever your evening routines are, that's what you did.
Question.
Well,
Am I allowed to use locate object on a Warforged?
I don't
It's
believe you
not
can use
an
locate object,
object. We are
on
not
a living
objects.
being.
Yeah, that was player character me asking this question as to not be rude.
Oh, certainly.
But I wanted
And-
to know.
And Chadwick's inside of 15 is high enough
Yes.
to make a connection. Warforged don't bleed.
Oh. Oh. I don't like this.
Crash, Beth is correct. The reason I'm asking is because as a Warforged, my senses don't turn off when I rest. So I'm aware of everything that's going on in the room while I'm resting. I just can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Probably same for Mac.
There was a moment where CHX, which I'm trying very hard to not call VHX because that's something else, although that would also been a good name.
Mm.
The next one.
So many three-letter combinations that are available now that I don't have to worry about vowels. Those pesky vowels that limited us to socks and gocks and mocks. Yeah. At some point,
That did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
at some
right.
point, they, like, every now and then during the night, they would, like, walk over and look at something and then walk back. And there was one point where, a little bit before A started yelling and shaking Chadwick, walked just around the corner where they were out of line of sight of you, but not to the door of your room, but around the corner of the little spot that A has walled off, and they didn't come back around after that.
Yeah, missed a word in there. They something after that.
They didn't come back into line of sight, and that was like very shortly before A ran over and started trying to shake Chadrick awake.
So Chex went over to A's closet, left the note, and then vanished before out of thin air, and then A had a freak out.
So, and here's additional
feeling.
information. Here's additional information. The amount of time between A making lots of noise and freaking out and CHX walking out of sight was very short, enough that if you're like, well, I'm just going to go and check on them, the amount of time before you make that decision was whatever that time would have been, that was longer than before A freaked out. And while A does have their own room, it was very hastily assembled in here. It's not the sturdiest construction. And I say this understanding that you have a double-decker couch and a couch that the previous occupants decided wasn't worth taking with them. The door makes noise when it's opened or closed, and you did not hear that until A came out screaming.
Hey, A. Tonight, can we just have the bag of holding in your room alone and you, like, hang out on the couch with me just for one night?
Do you think it's been chewing on A as well?
That might explain some of the blood, and then if it had a Warforged tonight, because Warforged don't have blood.
Or else it ran out of whatever else it ate.
But, like, have you been a little, like, weak in the morning? Or, like,
normal?
tired? Do you need, like, a little extra iron in your diet?
I mean, kobolds are nocturnal. I'm always tired in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, poor A, you're having to be on our diurnal cycle. No, I think
used to it.
whatever was bleeding was whatever it last ate. The question is, can we get it out again?
There's nothing inside of it anymore besides raisins. Where did our Warforged go?
Well, A summons one of their psychic blades and starts attempting to crawl into the bag of holding.
No!
Tie a rope around to A's.
I like pull him straight out by the legs. Like no.
Picture
no
this
friend.
image of Chadrick holding A upside down by one ankle and the bag of holding in the other hand, both stretched out as far as they'll go. You are T-posing to assert dominance.
Hobby is going to basically stick her head into the bag while it's being held out by Chadrick.
So Chadrick is still
Because
holding the
she's
bag
stupid.
out, and then as cats are tending
Yes.
to do, you just go over and say, "Let's see if I fits."
She's got her claws ready.
The bag is
Even
resting
fake
on
it-
Hobby's
it-
shoulders. There is no indentation or protrusion where Hobby's head would be. It looks, for all intents and purposes, like you've been beheaded, but your body's still standing there as your head is in the bag.
Stay in the closet overnight and see if it was still there in the morning.
We might need to find our Warforged sooner than that, if possible.
Yeah, but I just was thinking of future project ideas. Don't you guys have like a ping function, like a find my friends?
Give me,
You have
Hobby, give me a wisdom
Okay.
saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. Okay. That seems to be the saving throw button. It's not clicking it though. Okay. Wisdom. Roll my savings. How do I roll this thing?
You When you
Proficiency.
click on the wisdom word, you
There
get
it
two
is.
buttons. Yes.
Oh, I have to click on the word, not the.
Yeah. It took me a while as well. Okay.
Does a 17 work?
A 17 works. So, while your head is in the bag, and Chadrick is making an investigation roll, probably concerning your headless body.
Just like, Warforged, like, see if I can find anything. I'm trying to go into detective mode.
If any of you was
detective
going
mode?
to be taken into a bag of holding against your will, a Warforged is the safest option because Warforged don't need to breathe.
Don't breathe. Right.
That's
And
important.
There's only a few minutes of air in a bag of holding, but that's not gonna harm you because Warforged. If you or A was in there, then there'd be a clock ticking a bit faster. The reason I had you roll is because when you stick your head in and your ears are like perking up and around, trying to listen for anything, your eyes are dilating to go into perfect circles as you're looking for any source of light whatsoever. By the way, there is none. But your ears, and a little bit of a sense from your whiskers as well, there is something. It's faint at first, but it gets louder and louder and louder until it is almost overpowering. And yes, thank you, Beth, for that image. I know that comic. I was thinking about that. And I believe the alt text for that particular comic where she sticks her whole head and arm into that satchel is you'd have done it too, or something like that.
Yep.
I'm going to
Loud noise.
I'm going to quote what's written here for the most part.
Uh-oh.
As it gets louder and louder and louder, the way I would describe it is a wretched wail of fear and anguish. The sense that you get from it is intense loneliness and utter despair. And it gets intense enough that even with your saving throw, I'm going to say you're not immediately crouched on Tex's head, because Tex is possibly the tallest being in this room.
With all my fur.
With all your fur
Puffed out.
on end and claws out, scratching into Tex's chassis in order to stay put. That doesn't happen, but your ears are starting to ring. Tinnitus is beginning to set in. You have to pull your head out. It's just too uncomfortable.
Before she pulls her head out, she is shouting, "Chex, we're going to find you." And then she pulls her head out and jumps on top of Tex.
I'm going to stick my head in and try to mental link with something.
There's a lot of fear and terrible in there.
Yeah, but I'm immune to psychic damage, so let's go.
Are you
found it-
immune to not having air?
Small things. I can do it for a minute.
What's funny
can always-
about
Perhaps
this
someone
is,
should attach a rope to you.
Might be a good plan.
I am going to say, because of how I envision bags of holding working, and if there's game mechanics that say this is not how they work, that's nice. I'm going to set those game mechanics over there in this corner of things I will ignore, like encumbrance rules. Things said outside of the bag of holding are not heard in it. Things heard in the bag of holding are not heard out of it. Otherwise, the decanter of endless nope would have been way worse of a situation.
Oh my. Uh-huh.
Yeah, point. But she did shout it into the bag.
You did shout that into the bag, so if someone was there to hear it in the bag, they possibly heard you, if the wail wasn't overpowering. But I'm bringing this up because Chadrick has stuck his head in the bag of holding and is saying things. But what everyone else sees is just, there's a headless Chadrick.
Cavill gets Arcana 22.
Brainwave with me! I'm good at brainwaves. It's all my class's whole thing.
Are you searching out for a mind?
I am searching out for a mind.
Give me an intelligence saving throw. At disadvantage.
Oh no. Okay,
You
saving
can't
throw at
perceive
disadvantage.
any minds. You're just trying to search your feelings. You know it to be true.
I know it to be true.
Okay.
I got an 8.
Yeah, I think we have the wailing no here.
Well, no, you don't hear anything. By the way, your high roll was a 12. That still wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I assumed. I could totally use my inspiration.
Chadrick just goes still.
Boink the bag off his head.
Chadrick,
Yep.
you've seen Chadrick like this before, but usually it required a couple cheg stands. I say a couple because one cheg stand wasn't enough to do it, usually. Chadrick, you are stunned. You reached out and found something. You do not understand what you found. You could not understand the thoughts. There were things that you would call thoughts only because you cannot think of a better word to describe them. It was alien.
We need help from someone else. We need to call in some assistance.
Who are you gonna call?
The Ghostbusters, but also I think we should go talk to the people in the Institute of Learning.
The one where you keep getting her.
There's something in this bag. There's something in this bag.
There's something that's very sad and alone in the bag.
It's also it's sentient. I think.
I'm trying to remember. Brain is starting to fade. I was doing student auditions for my program since 9 a.m. this morning, and some of them were double booked.
Right.
Did I address Cavill's 22 Arcana?
No, you did not.
And I was about to ask.
That's a me problem, and I apologize for that. Brain, Cavill,
No
what
worries.
do you want? Cavill, what do you want to know?
Well, I don't know what I should be asking, so
Okay.
I
Want
just
to know the
figure
question.
Cavill knows more about this than I do.
Okay. With that Arcana check, I'm going to ask you to also give me a history check.
Wow.
25.
No.
We both
no,
got some
no,
natural-
you don't understand. That
You could have.
is a nat 20. And Chadrick also rolled
That
a
was
nat
2
20
nat
for
20s,
religion.
so I don't know why Chadrick was rolling religion.
I don't know why either. But
Chadrick,
with a nat 20
after-
on history.
We'll do yours first. I have a reason.
Nat 20
Give me
history.
a second here. With the nat 20, I need to read something to you. But to read it, the page needs to load. Come on, page. Come on, computer. Hello,
So
computer.
basically, I rolled a religion check because I know that Chadrick, after putting together that it's a sentient being but also a creepy not sentient thing, is going to be going through the Kalishtar history and religion that he was raised on, especially since he had to go against the natural enemy of his race in the other bard.
Okay, so Chadwick is going to kind of pick up bits and pieces of this because this relates in no ways to the Kalashtar. But a nat 20 is a nat 20, so I'm being kind by saying you're going to understand a little bit of this. Cavill, the other C. Because Cavill's the one with the boots of flying, Cavill is the high C. Chadrick is more the Hawaiian punch, possibly spiked.
I am the high C. I'm the one with bard levels.
Yes. Well, you've looked into a great many things, and as a bard, you have collected a great many stories. Some say the Bagman is merely an urban legend. One version of the story tells of an adventurer who sought to escape certain death by abandoning his companions and hiding inside a bag of holding. Later, when he tried to leave the bag, he became lost amid a constantly increasing number of extra-dimensional storage spaces. Over time, the strange forces of this magical in-between place transformed the adventurer into a monstrous creature. Now, every night, the bagman slips out from a random bag of holding. If he doesn't find his home, he drags someone back into the bag with him and leaves behind some trinket from his hidden kingdom of lost junk. Some say that if you speak too loudly over an open bag of holding, or whisper, "Follow my voice," into a magical storage space 3 times, the bagman will come for you. Whether this is true, genesis of the bagman, or not, the fact remains that a bagman is a very real threat, and a fate worse than death awaits those dragged into the realm from which they hail. That is the story as you learned it. Now, you know, as a bard, that many stories aren't verbatim truth of a situation. They're embellished to make them more entertaining. In this case, more scary. But the most interesting stories have some degree of truth in them, as you found out the hard way over the many years that you were racking up warlock levels. And this has all the hallmarks.
Indeed. Wonderful. It's a bagman.
It's a
Mr.
what?
Bagman,
I'm more of a kobold.
give me your bags.
Not you,
Oh.
thankfully.
So yeah, we're gonna lock this bag of holding away from all of us then until we solve this.
I'm not sure how much time we have, but
Mr. Bagman, bring me some bags.
Let's not wait.
at the very least, we need a means of restoring air to those of us who need to breathe.
Hey, Warforged, y'all good up for an adventure while we provide wonderful, witty backup?
Well, we don't need to breathe. Perhaps we'll do better.
There's something in there that's really, really, really unhappy and lonely and sad.
And
Cavil?
might or might not, depending on whether you believe legends, be an adventurer who turned into a horrible bag monster.
They got a lot of feelings going on.
Cavil,
Mhm.
can you ask your boss if we can, like, rent some
A spacesuit.
not breathy things? Like, at least 4 of them?
I think I know who we can ask,
I will do that.
but I can't ask them.
Oh.
What? Didn't hear all the words.
Kobolds found a way. Look, most of the moon for the longest time, and, like, you go really high up, everything out there.
Holy
no air.
crap. That is
That's a-
the third nat 20 in a row.
Yes, that is.
Wow.
Tex, please ask me what you're looking for.
Previous story did I know because of my religion check?
Like I said, you knew bits and pieces. You knew that it was like the Bloody Mary thing, but for bags of holding. That's what you picked up. But the history
Gotcha.
of it and all that, like the embellishments, Cavil would be able to tell the story way better. With
Gotcha.
that said, Tex, with your nat 20 insight check, what do you want to know?
A has actually already confirmed what I want to know. And so Tex, who has not moved since this whole thing started, puts her hand to where her ear would be, because that's what you do, and says, "Flag headquarters, please put me in touch with Chroma of the Circle of Tales."
Yes. If I remember correctly, Chroma is vacuum rated. And that's where we're going to end it tonight. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for playing. Tonight I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Io, Millie, and Jen. Who wants to plug a thing?
Ian's mom writes books at elizabethmccoy.com, and you don't have to put a dash in, but the dash ought to be forwarded to it anyway. And you can also look up Elizabeth McCoy, like get your local library to do it on the ebooks, and you can ask them to buy the ebook for you, and then you read it for free, and I still get paid. It's great. And speaking of books,
My website is bookofjen.net. It's been around for a while. I just put things on there that I feel like writing about at whatever time. There's some book reviews on there. There's a bunch of other stuff. So that's bookofjen.net. I'm also the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, which is at shatteredsoulstone.com, and new episodes come out every Saturday. I haven't put them on the socials yet, but I'll get there.
And speaking of websites.
Speaking of social websites.
I was like, I don't know, that's not the right drop. I run the Mastodon instance, elek.xyz. That's elekk.xyz. It is part of that whole Mastodon thingamabob you may have heard about. And it's like a Schrodinger's federated site where I can say goodbye to all the people who are rude and don't respect people's opinions. And I can say hello to all the people who are cool and rad. So it's like a place where you can be a nerd, but not, like, be attacked for liking your favorite TV show.
And speaking of websites.
We have one. AaronBSmith.com
What?
is where I put all of my stuff, including AaronBSmith.com/cogwheel, where you find all of these episodes recorded and edited, and they're organized into different RSS feeds for your listening pleasure. Go ahead and binge listen to any of our completed campaigns or our one-shots, or, there's a lot of stuff that, dare I say it, is darned cool. Thanks to other people GMing besides me. And I helped.
Yes.
And if you really like this stuff, there are ways to support us if you wish. There's patreon.com/cogwheelgaming to help us keep the lights on with other illustrious patrons, including Ellie, Shanshan Walter, and patron emeritus Cindy. And until next time, this is Crash saying, Chroma, are we going on an adventure? Good night, everybody.
What?
You cut out so much.
You did.
I heard, what?
Yeah, no, it's you who was out, Crash.
That too. As I say that, I see Beth is writing in the chat, yeah, that too. All right, good night, everybody.
Good night. Or, as you said, twang, everybody.
It's okay. Chroma had her headphones in. They're noise canceling.
Ooh.